A popular organizational design that accommodates organizations of varying sizes is the STAR business module. This STAR business model enables management to define a clear strategy, as well as identify rewards, people and leadership, structure and systems, and processes along the way. Without a strong understanding of the future of a company expressed in the form of a strategy, daily operations and decisions may not be conducive to the desired organizational growth, and operations may suffer as a result. This framework has a series of design policies that are controllable by management and can influence employees' behaviors. If these concepts are not considered in the creation of the business plan, what do you think could go wrong? If the structure of an organization is not properly established, then there is no identified authoritative power. With a lack of governance, there's no final say. Whether it be the board of directors or CEO that has the final approval on the initiatives of the agency, the business plan must state the hierarchy of the company to be effective. Next, how information is captured and transferred through the agency is key. In my current agency, specific systems and processes have been identified for every business aspect, from how to clock in and out in the morning to which SQL environments need to be established to meet our IT's current and future needs based on the business. Both people and leadership, along with rewards, need to be thought about when it comes to the employees and their retention. If employees feel underutilized, they tend to lose interest and investment in the company. By honing in on specific skill sets of those employees and motivating them to have agency buy-in, less money ultimately will need to be spent on recruiting purposes. Have there ever been times that you could have saved a valued employee by simply reworking their job duties slightly? Or maybe even you've been in that position yourself where you haven't felt as though you were being valued for the work that you could be doing. Agencies should keep in mind that when it comes to the creation of their business plan, they need to intertwine ways for employees to have self-improvement as well as a solid reward system based on merits. Finally, and most importantly, the strategic plan of the agency. This is the overarching direction that the company plans to move through tactical business decisions. The strategy of a company is truly its formula for sustainability and longevity within an industry. This can be laid out in the company's business plan, and it can also be spelled out in their mission statement, as identified in the image below. This image shows the high-level parts of a strong strategy of having goals with desired outcomes that result in the strategies with measurable targets, and then a way to evaluate all of this with their final results. It truly is that simple. Thinking strategically is often an under-recognized mindset. When it comes to all of the business decisions, the overarching strategy must be kept in the forefront as a driving factor, and the business plan should honestly be utilized as almost a golden rule and as what constitutes as a strategic decision for the agency. The following video is a quick breakdown of what this concept, strategic planning, truly means.
Hi, my name is Erica Olson with M3 Planning. Today's topic is about what is strategic planning really? You know, strategic planning means different things to different people, and we have found that if we're not really clear about what we mean by strategic planning for an organization up front before we get started, we tend to have some problems getting people engaged in the middle of the process, or there's just roadblocks or people's resistance gets in the way. So here are the different types of things we mean when we talk about strategic planning, and there are different outcomes most of the time that leaders are seeking when they're engaging in a strategic planning process. These build, so let's talk about them sequentially, and then you can think as we're moving through what you're really looking for in your strategic planning process. So at the very base level, a strategic planning process is an articulated plan. People want an articulated plan for their organization. So what do I mean by that? That means we have a mission, we have a vision, we have goals, objectives, etc. An articulated plan. Sometimes we want to add on to that plan is actually strategic. And you may say, well, it's a strategic plan, but that's not necessarily true unless you bring in external data. If you don't bring in external market data, such as what your customers think, what your competitors are doing, what's happening in your environment, in your industry, you're not going to have a strategic plan. You're just going to have a plan. Now, sometimes we don't need a strategic plan. Sometimes we just need an articulated set of mission, vision, goals, objectives. But sometimes we really need to figure out what our strategic differentiation is in the marketplace. And in which case, to do so, you need to add into your process that market data collection, use it to make strategic decisions about what you're doing and not doing, such your plan actually articulates how you're different. Okay, so a plan that's strategic that also drives organizational engagement. How do we drive organizational engagement? We cascade goals. And cascaded goals mean that everybody in the organization knows what their piece of the strategy and the plan are. That drives organizational engagement. And you may say, well, of course I want everybody engaged. And sometimes we want that in organizations, but we don't have the wherewithal to actually make that happen. And sometimes that's not necessary right now. So it's important to know if your strategic planning process is intended to drive organizational engagement or not. And if it is, you need to make sure that your plan goes all the way down to the individual level so everybody knows their piece of the future. So sometimes we add on to that the want to actually drive organizational transformation using a strategic planning process. And how do we do that? We have an articulated plan that's strategic, that's cascaded through the whole organization, that we talk about on a regular basis and we make changes to as we move along the way, and we help shift behaviors and we help drive choice. And we do that by visibly talking about it in specific meetings. I'm calling them quarterly business reviews. You may call them something else. But the point is, we're using this information to drive decision making and drive behavior, and we're talking about it and we're being visible about it. So as you're thinking about your strategic planning process, think about what's important to your organization right now and get everybody on the same page about what the real outcome of your process is intended to be.
Hello, my name is Teresa Payne, and I'm part of Group 2. I will be talking about the business model plan, and the two articles that I read one was by Richard Higgin. He wrote Long Range Planning in Mature Corporations, and Robert Simmons. He wrote How New Top Managers Use Control Systems as Levers of Strategic Renewal. We're first going to start off with the business plan, how the business plan is related to the STAR module that we read in class and we had many discussions on. The similarities is they're all built on strategic structure, performance, planning, and people skills. The basis, well, the problem that the articles that were back in 1981, and the other one was in 1994. They had the same concepts to try business plan, how the organization needed to develop a plan for one, the organizations to run a little more, and two, where employees on the same kind of ground where they work together to produce the products or the services needed to be done to complete the organization. Higgins, he describes business plan module in phases. He wrote back in 1981. It was long-range planning in a corporation. His aim was to assist small business to help them create a structure for future growth within their organization. He also analyzed small business success. Simmons, on the other hand, described a business model plan as a theoretical business plan. It was part theory, the other part analysis. The theory was to help develop a plan to give them reasons why this plan was needed. The analysis part was together so it could be leaked. article back in 1994. It was how top managers use control systems to leverage strategic his frame or to explore potential. The theoretical business plan by Robert Simmons made us brought up a belief system, interactive control system, boundary system. The belief system was a strategic change on roles and drivers to controlization for the lower staff, which were not top management, but we would consider them as bottom staff. The diagnostic system of monitoring organization, they change performance goals, something that build the organization and will keep employees loving work, enjoying the work. The interactive control system employees was based on evolutionary change. We're goal keep. If they set a goal where they needed you to use 2 cars in that, the employee went through 3 because they were keeping those going behind because seeing for certain change within the organization. Employees, they all here, they picnic around, or something, or just what we a boundary system involves hiring individuals through HR. A lot of organizations change the way some of them start because they have new ideas and help build organizations, help managers understand the importance of communication and helping staff understand the importance of the organization as well as management. Developing structure for management employees and tracking the employees was a big problem goal of the employees rights. So it was a big change for management, and it was starting to improve by the business model plan they were creating. Richard Higgins, on the other hand, he created the phases, which, as I said, was based on picture frame. And the phase was the system conceptualization, and was creating where management developed organized plan.
Hi, I'm Daniel Demian, and this is the business plan development. The foundation of a strong business plan consists of both internal and external elements. Within the framework of organizational design, there are a few key elements that all business plans should contain. When upper-level management formulates a business plan, it must consider a few self-reflection and design concepts that help lay the foundation for the purpose and strategy of the organization. The company analysis comprises of the planned products, goods, services that the company is going to offer. It's essentially to, at the very least, have a preliminary schedule of products and services upon its inception. Flexibility is an essential part of this phase because many organizations learn through trial and error. Being adaptable within a market will allow the company to be agile and take advantage of opportunities to make a profit. The customer analysis is really important. It defines the specific target customers and the consumers. This is where a company is going to create a buyer persona to highlight the most sought after demographic of customers. The organization would be best suited to develop a psychographic profile for the targeted customers so they better understand what their customers' value is. This stage will help with external elements such as marketing and internal elements such as the product development. Perhaps the most important part of this is the management, and it's an important element of the organization's design, and it's the makeup of their management team. Selective hiring and targeting individuals that fit the personality mold of your corporate culture is crucial to the establishment of the organization. Organizations should target individuals who are transformational leaders rather than bosses. The implementation of a sound hierarchy structure that best fits your organization's design and the size of your company is of the utmost importance. In 2018, companies that are flatter tend to be more successful and makes employees feel a lot more involved. The operations plan is where a company designs and measures its success. A company must set expectations before it can live up to those expectations. This is where companies set goals and milestones, as well as how to get to where it's trying to go. These goals and milestones are typically aimed at 1 to 5 years, but could be longer if possible and on a needs basis.
The University at Albany is an engine of opportunity, fueled by our unique mix of academic excellence, internationally recognized research, and world-class faculty. We relentlessly pursue possibilities, create connections, and open opportunities locally and globally, with a single-minded purpose: to empower our students, faculty, and campus communities to author their own success. This is the University at Albany.
What you just heard was the University at Albany's new mission statement. And guess what? you helped create it. Over the past few months, over 1,000 individuals, faculty, staff, and students have actively participated in creating the new strategic plan that will guide the University at Albany for the next 5 years. Your active engagement and participation have been an invaluable part of this process. Together, we've crafted the core priorities that will allow us to be a leading public research university. Student success, research excellence, diversity and inclusion, internationalization, and engagement and service.
Priority 1, student success. By promoting academic achievement and personal growth, we will prepare UAlbany students to succeed in their careers and in all aspects of their lives as engaged citizens. We will do this by investing in academic programs, enhancing the student experience, and more deeply integrating teaching and experiential education. Priority 2, research excellence. We will strengthen UAlbany's research, scholarship, and creative pursuits that address societal challenges, advance human knowledge, and drive innovation and discovery. This will be accomplished through recruiting strong faculty, staff, and graduate students, and empowering them to engage in innovative research. Priority 3, diversity and inclusion. UAlbany's diversity in our people and our ideas drives excellence in everything that we do. To that end, we commit to recruiting and retaining faculty, staff, administrators, and graduate students who better reflect the strong, multidimensional diversity of our undergraduate students. We will also foster an inclusive campus climate and learning environment. Priority 4, internationalization. We will prepare our students to be globally engaged citizens while expanding UAlbany's international visibility and impact. We will do this by ensuring our curriculum prepares students to be globally engaged citizens, and we will integrate internationalization across teaching and research while increasing access to education abroad. Priority 5, engagement and service. UAlbany will continue to serve as a regional, national, and international partner and anchor institution. We will create scholarship and research opportunities that address societal challenges, serve our local and global communities, and engage neighbors, community members, and alumni in the life of the university.
These are the 5 core priorities that represent our strengths, our identity, and our aspirations. These are the touchstones that will allow us to write the next chapters in our history. And achieving them will allow us to fulfill the University at Albany's promise and vision for the future. To be the nation's leading diverse public research university, providing the leaders, the knowledge, and the innovations to create a better world.